What's up, guys? Rob here. I'm in the trails doing something a little different and something that I think I'm gonna start doing from now on. I'm hanging out with awesome trail race director Molly Kassouf here in Newport. For starters, Molly, what led you to start running? What is your background with running and trail running?
I started trail running 2006 after being introduced to Crystal Cove.
Okay.
And started running out here 3 to 4 days a week. Started a little run group. We met in the morning and just fell in love with the trails. So pretty, ocean views, single track, challenging rolling hills.
So you went from not being a runner to fall in love with it? Like,
no, I had done probably about 20 road marathons.
okay.
I was a road runner and then wanted a little bit of a change. So decided, because a few other friends were running trails, hey, I want to check that out. And I haven't looked back.
So when you decided to become a race director, is that something that, you know, you had like a mentor? Is that something that you just did on your own? Like, is there a book on how to be a race director?
I wish. No, I was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years, and getting up early, hitting the trails became a passion and a mommy escape, and thought, how cool would it be to put a race on? So I inquired and then was given a list of things I had to do and accomplish, and 13 races later, here we are. We've on Moro.
So what is the background with like scheduling a race? I know there's permits, I know there's finding the location. How does that really break down for you?
When I was looking into doing a race, they told me I needed to design a course, have the race sanctioned, collect sponsors, put together a medical team, put together all my aid stations. I had to design a logo, and I said, okay, I'll get back to you. And I did. And the owl logo, I've been asked many times, why an owl? An owl, to me, signifies security, wise, protector. And in the mornings, we'd run out in Moro. Sometimes at sunrise, still dark, and we would not be able to see the owls, but hear them. And for new runners, any kind of sound that you hear in the dark is like, oh my God, what is that? But the owls were so comforting that I thought an owl logo would be perfect for my races. I'm trying to show what owls do, because they're so cool to me.
Hence the name Who's in Moro. So tell me a little bit about that race. It's actually coming up in about a week, but everybody knows about that race. So tell me about the creation process with that race, and you know why this race is so big too.
I was given the opportunity to have a race in here. I had to prove myself, which I think is deserving. And this race to me means a lot because I do put my heart and soul into Well, and I love how I can see elite athletes out here be challenged and first timers off the couch totally fall in love with the trails. It's so rewarding to me. Every race I walk away humbled from somebody else's experience, somebody else's gratefulness. I feel blessed that I can do it. It's not for money, it's for my own passion, and it's super rewarding, but at times challenging, like race week.
Now, I was one of those runners that was new to trail running.
Yes.
And I experienced one of your races. And like you said, your races can be for new runners or elite athletes. So how do you actually balance a race like that you can actually have a little bit of both and yet still be challenging? I was struggling, but I loved it.
We're gonna go left there. It was very, you can challenge yourself out here to what level you want to push yourself.
Right.
So if you're going to push yourself to an extreme level as an elite athlete, such as in the past, Chris Vargo, Tim Tollefson, Sally McRae, Lindsay Tollefson, come out here and they've pushed themselves. They're elite, so that says enough, but I do think they're challenged. And on the same token, I love to see the newbies who have never been out on the trails come back to my race. My job's done. I'm super happy and thankful.
So tell me a little bit about finding the course, marking the course, because I mean, I'm sure you have spots that you'd love to run in,
Right.
but you know, how do you go about that, and how do you figure out how much distance you can actually do for these races?
So people may or may not know, Crystal Cove is a park that also shares trails with Laguna Coast, and El Moro, where my race trails are in 11 miles of trails that I work to squeeze out 15-mile way. So designing the course back, let's see, had to be 2006. Guy that I ran with a lot, good friend Jeff Smith, helped design the course. I wanted single track, I wanted ocean views, I wanted people to experience kind of the whole package out here. So with that, I've had to change it a few times because of permits and different trails. So it's hard, but I'm out here all the time. I kind of know the trails, know the distances, so that made it a little bit easier.
Uh-huh. Now, as I mentioned, like I experienced one of your races, and one of the things that you pretty much expressed on was that if you get lost, then you're not paying attention, because your races are clearly marked. How are you able to put so much attention to detail when you're out in the trails, especially when you're marking, say, a 50 miler or a 50K?
I put a lot of time in marking the course. I take pride in how many pink ribbons I tie. I have to say that my sweepers are usually not super stoked to have to pick up hundreds of pink ribbons. Sorry, Steve Harvey. But it is, to me, it's important to do my job, which is to get everybody to the finish line safe.
Right.
Number one, once everybody crosses that finish line, my job is, like, I'm super happy.
Yeah.
But if I've had a couple people in the past who've made wrong turns, which is totally fine. People can get in their own zone. They're looking down. They're not paying attention to where the markings are.
Right.
Totally normal. We've all been there, done that. But if I can get everybody to the finish line, I'm good. However, if you get lost out here, it's not a bad deal. You could end up at Crystal Cove State Beach. You could end up at Starbucks in Newport Coast. Or you could end up at Laguna Beach along Laguna Canyon Road. You would survive being lost in Who's in Moro.
So a lot of your races are here in the OC. Do you plan on expanding maybe to LA or maybe to other areas, whether it be California or outside of the States?
I'm not expanding at the time, at this moment. I just took over a 5 race series with the Winter Trail Race Series in the Cleveland National Forest. So that is a lot on top of working and being a mom of 3. So it's enjoyable, but right now I have 7 races and I'm happy. For me, it's not quantity, it's quality.
Right.
I want as many perfectly, if I can get them as perfect as I can, run trail races. And there's so many hiccups that are behind the scenes that not everybody understands putting a race on. But it's something that just kind of gets fixed without anybody having to worry about it or knowing it.
With setting up all these races, I'm sure it's really time consuming. You're still a trail runner. You still do 100-mile races on your own. So how do you balance your training with making these happen?
Right now, I'm in the deep throes of a 100-mile training and putting on a race. So for me, it's shelving, prioritizing, and I'm human. It's gonna be awesome weeks, and then it's gonna be not so awesome. So staying positive and pushing forward is a key factor. And honestly, what I do is a gift. I'm blessed to A, be able to run, B, be able to hang out with awesome runners and train. I'm trying to hike this. Right. And train at the same time. So it's called organized chaos. That's how I always kind of describe being a mom of 3.
Let's talk a little bit about your volunteers, because not only is your course always properly marked, but I feel like you always have a great amount of volunteers.
Yes.
And each and every one of them shows the same kind of energy to every runner during race day.
Fortunately, being that I've been in this for now 10 years and being a runner as well, I have developed great friendships. So thankful for everybody who volunteers. I might be the race director, but I could not put my race on without any of those volunteers, including timing, including ham radios, medics, aid station volunteers. I make sure I know as a runner when I come into an aid station and I'm not feeling great, nothing's more exciting when somebody's like, pumped, super stoked, you got this, you're fine. And because they're a runner themselves, they've been there, done that, so they can relate. If you can relate, I think it'll make somebody's race so much better.
Right.
So having them out there is so important. And so I'm so thankful for, honestly, I could not have my race with the support, friends, family, all the above. Running.
All right, so as far as trail race directors, there's pretty much a big 3 out here, which is Jerry with Rocket, Kira, and yourself.
Right.
Kira does Leona, does Sean O'Brien.
Yes.
And then yourself. So what are those relationships like between the three of you? Do you guys ever like collaborate? Do you guys ever like trade off? Hey, I'll do your race, you do mine.
Kira and I have been great friends since before I started trail running. So Kira and I have had a friendship. She and I started both race directing around the same time. She and I are very similar, and then at the same time it can be very different. However, we definitely support one another, support each other's races. She's more in the LA area. I'm more in the Orange County area. Jerry with Rocket Racing is Orange County. She as well has races in a lot of areas as well. I think it's super important to support one another, do good to one another. There's, Sarah with Ramos Run, her and I work together. Jessica DeLine with Harding Hustle, Pikes Peak. She's been around for a long time as well. She and I work together with our dates. Allison Wenster with Into the Wild, her and I work together. We're all doing it for the same reason. We love it. We love the trails. It's passionate. And I think if you support one another, it's only going to support you positively in the long run. So that's my motto. We support each other. We want each of us to succeed. Want everybody to have the best experience out here. Again, if I get all my runners across that finish line healthy and happy, I'm so happy. So happy.
So for any new trail runners, or maybe someone that's like considered trying out trail running, they're either scared to or just don't think they can handle running up a mountain,
come see me. Come see me. I promise you won't have a bad experience. I have a run group that I host every Wednesday night. Typically anywhere between 20 to 40 runners show up. People who have never stepped foot on trails, ever. And people who have been running for Patagonia and Hoka for years. I am the caboose. I stay in the back every Wednesday night, making sure everybody is okay. And feels like, because there's nothing worse than going to a race or going to a trail run and you're ready, set, go, and everybody takes off and you're like struggling to hold on to their coattails. It's like, I'm not coming back. That was lame. So that Wednesday night is not about me, it's about the runners. My race is not about me, it's about the runners. So I will do whatever I can. Come to my race, I promise you'll have a good experience.
And what's that website again?
Who's in El Moro?
There you go. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me and Molly here on the trails. There will definitely be a lot more of these race director / trail running interviews because this was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But be sure to check her out. And thanks, Molly, for giving me some time, especially this week. She's training for the San Diego 100 miler. So she's kind of kicking my butt right now. But you guys, so you guys be sure to check her out. Who's in El Moro, and hopefully you guys join one of her races soon. Thanks for watching.
Yay.